The phone slipped from my hand, clattering onto the hardwood floor like a gunshot in the dead of night. The screen cracked on impact, spiderwebbing across Emily's last message. "I can't do this, Alex. I love you, but I can't settle. Wedding's off." My knees buckled and I collapsed onto the edge of our bed. Her bed now, I suppose. Staring at the words as if they were a hallucination born from too many late nights at the office. The room spun, the air thick with the scent of her lavender perfume still lingering on the pillows. Humiliation burned in my chest like acid, hot and unrelenting. A month before our wedding. Goddamn month. Invitations sent, deposits paid, my entire family flying in from across the country. And she just texts it, like canceling a dinner reservation. I paced the apartment, my bare feet sticking to the cold tiles in the kitchen where we'd danced barefoot after our engagement party. Anger surged, a tidal wave crashing over the initial shock. How dare she? After 5 years. 5 years of building a life, of me bending over backward to make her happy. I grabbed a bottle of whiskey from the cabinet, the glass cool against my palm, and poured until it sloshed over the rim. The burn down my throat did nothing to dull the edge. Heartbreak twisted like a knife in my gut, but beneath it, something darker stirred. Resentment coiling like smoke in my lungs. She couldn't settle. What the hell did that mean? Was I just a placeholder? A safe bet until something better came along. By morning, denial had set in. I called her 17 times, each voicemail more desperate than the last. Pick up. This is a joke, right? We can talk about this. But she didn't. Her social media went dark. Posts deleted. Profile picture changed to a solo shot of her laughing on a beach we'd visited together. I scrolled through our old photos, my thumb hovering over the delete button, but I couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I cancelled everything. The venue, the florist, the band. Each call a fresh stab of embarrassment. Yes, the wedding's off. No, I don't need a refund policy explanation. Just cancel it. The caterer sympathized, her voice dripping with pity that made my skin crawl. I imagined their whispers. Poor guy, dumped so close to the big day. Work was a blur. As a mid-level accountant at a firm downtown, I buried myself in spreadsheets, but my mind wandered. Fantasies crept in unbidden, her begging for forgiveness, me slamming the door in her face. Or worse, exposing whatever secret she was hiding. 'Cause there had to be a secret. Emily didn't just wake up one day and decide she couldn't settle. No, this smelled like betrayal, the kind that festers in the shadows. I started digging that night, alone in my apartment, the city lights flickering through the rain-streaked windows like accusatory eyes. First her email. We'd shared passwords once, in that naive phase of trust. I logged in, heart pounding, the cursor blinking like a judgment. Nothing obvious at first, work stuff, bills. Then, buried in a folder labeled miscellaneous, a chain with her best friend Sarah. I did it, Emily had written 2 days ago. Told him. God, I feel awful, but it's the right thing. Can't keep pretending. Sarah's reply. You're brave, Em. And hey, now you and Jake can be official. He adores you. My stomach dropped. Jake Harlan, my best friend since college, the guy who'd been my best man. The one who'd toasted us at the engagement party, calling Emily the sister I never had. The room tilted. I gripped the desk, knuckles white, as fury ignited like a match to gasoline. Of all people. Flashes hit me. The way he'd linger a bit too long when hugging her goodbye. The inside jokes they'd share that left me on the outside. How had I been so blind? Obsession took root then, a thorny vine wrapping around my thoughts. I hacked into his socials next, easy since he used the same password for everything. Messages between them dating back 6 months. Can't wait to see you tonight, he'd written. Alex working late again. Her response. Yeah, poor guy. But you make it worth it. Red heart. Heartbreak morphed into something sharper, colder. Resentment wasn't enough. This was humiliation on a cellular level. I'd introduced them. Trusted him with my life. And her got her. The woman I'd planned a future with, kids, a house in the suburbs. All a lie. I slammed my laptop shut, the sound echoing in the empty space. Guilt flickered briefly. Should I confront them? Give them a chance to explain? But no. The moral high ground felt like quicksand. Doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Maybe it was just emotional, not physical. But the messages painted a different picture, intimate and damning. That weekend I drove to her favorite cafe, the one with the mismatched chairs and the aroma of fresh croissants that always made her smile. I sat in the corner, nursing a black coffee that tasted like ash, watching couples laugh over brunch. My phone buzzed, a text from my sister. Heard about Emily. You okay? Want me to come over? I typed back a lie. I'm fine. Just need space. But I wasn't. Inside a storm raged, anger at them, at myself for not seeing it. Fantasies of justice evolved. Keying Jake's car, spreading rumors at work. But those were petty, unsatisfying. No, revenge needed to be surgical, devastating. Something that would make them feel the same gut-wrenching loss I did. Monday I called in sick and tailed Jake. He worked at a marketing firm across town. His sleek office building a monument to his charmed life. I parked across the street, the engine ticking as it cooled, rain pattering on the windshield like impatient fingers. He emerged at lunch, umbrella in hand, and there she was, Emily stepping out of a cab, her coat collar turned up against the drizzle. They embraced, his hand lingering on her lower back. My grip tightened on the steering wheel, plastic creaking under the pressure. They ducked into a bistro, laughing like nothing had shattered. That night, alone with a pizza growing cold on the coffee table, I plotted. Moral conflict gnawed at me. Was I becoming the villain? Revenge stories always end badly, right? But the obsession won out. I started small, strategic. Hacked into Emily's bank account, again, shared passwords from better days. Transferred just enough to her emergency fund to make it look like she'd been skimming from our joint savings. Nothing traceable to me. Then, an anonymous email to her boss at the graphic design agency. Check Emily's freelance work. She's been double-dipping clients. Attached were fabricated invoices, pieced together from old files. Doubt hit again. This was crossing lines. But the image of them together fueled me. A cold resolve settling like frost. Weeks blurred. I lost weight, sleep evading me as I lay in bed, replaying memories twisted by betrayal. The apartment felt haunted. Her absence a vacuum sucking the life from the rooms. Friends called, concerned, but I brushed them off with forced smiles. Moving on, I'd say, voice steady while my mind raced. Subtle hints of my plan emerged. An accidental bump into Jake at the gym, where I mentioned offhand how Emily had left some interesting stuff behind. His eyes widened, a flicker of fear. But tension built, slow and insidious, like a pot simmering before the boil. One evening Sarah called. Alex, I know you're hurting. Emily feels terrible. Her voice was soft, laced with guilt. Did she know everything? Terrible enough to cheat with my best friend. I snapped, the words escaping before I could rein them in. Silence stretched, taut as a wire. How did you? She whispered. I hung up, heart hammering. The web was tightening. But fear crept in. What if they turned it back on me? Accused me of stalking. The moral grayness deepened. I wasn't innocent anymore. Obsession had morphed into something addictive. A drug numbing the pain. By the end of the month, the first cracks showed. Emily texted me, finally. We need to talk. About the apartment, our stuff. Neutral, but I sensed the undercurrent of panic. I agreed to meet at a neutral spot. A park bench overlooking the river. The water churning gray under overcast skies. She arrived bundled in a scarf I'd bought her. Eyes red-rimmed. Alex, I'm sorry, she started, voice trembling. It wasn't planned. Jake and I. It just happened. Just happened. I echoed, suppressing the rage bubbling up. My hands clenched in my pockets, fingers brushing the phone where I'd recorded everything. Just in case. 5 years, And you throw it away because you couldn't settle? Her eyes darted away, guilt etching lines on her face. I thought I loved you enough. But with Jake it's different. Passionate. The word hit like a slap. Passionate. As if our life had been mundane. I nodded, feigning understanding while inside, cold resolve hardened. I get it, I lied. Let's just divide the stuff amicably. As she left, relief in her step, I watched her go. The pursuit had begun. Subtle, yes, but undeniable. The suspense hung heavy, a storm cloud gathering force. The plan crystallized that night, rain lashing the windows like accusations. I sat at my desk, the glow of the laptop screen casting shadows that danced like demons on the walls. Jake's promotion was coming up. I'd overheard him bragging about it months ago. He was in line for VP at his firm, a role that required spotless references. I anonymous tipped HR with evidence of embezzlement, doctored expense reports, emails I'd forged using a burner account. It was easy, almost too easy with my accounting skills. Guilt tugged at me, this could ruin him. But then I remembered their messages, the emojis of hearts and kisses while I worked overtime to pay for our wedding. No, they deserved it. Doubt plagued me in quiet moments. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, whirring like my racing thoughts, I wondered if revenge was poisoning me more than them. Was I obsessed? But the heartbreak demanded justice. I imagined their faces when it all came crashing down. Emily's tears, Jake's panic. It fueled me, a dark thrill chasing away the emptiness. The next week, I bumped into Emily at the grocery store. Coincidence? Hardly. I tracked her routine. She looked harried, bags under her eyes. Alex, she said, startled, clutching a basket of organic veggies. Always the health nut. How are you? Her voice was tentative, probing. I smiled, the expression feeling like a mask. Better. Moving on. You. She shifted, uncomfortable. Jake and I are. Good. But work stressful. Got demoted last week. Some mix-up with clients. I feigned sympathy, but inside, triumph sparked. My email had worked. That's rough. Karma's a bitch, huh? The words slipped out, laced with suppressed rage. Her eyes narrowed, a hint of suspicion, but she brushed it off with a nervous laugh. Tension escalated. Jake called me for the first time since the breakup. Dude, we need to talk. His voice was strained, the bro vibe gone. We met at a dive bar, the air thick with cigarette smoke and regret. Neon lights buzzed overhead, casting his face in harsh red. I know you're pissed, he started, nursing a beer. But Emily and I, it's real. We didn't mean to hurt you. I leaned in, voice low. Hurt? You destroyed me. Best man, huh? More like backstabber. He flinched, guilt flashing. I'm sorry, man. But life's short. Can't fake it. Rage simmered, but I played it cool. Apology accepted. Water under the bridge. As he relaxed, I dropped the bomb casually. Heard about your promotion trouble. Sucks. His face paled. How'd you know? Shrugged. Word gets around. Suspense thickened. He suspected but couldn't prove. Back home, the apartment felt claustrophobic, walls closing in with memories. I packed her remaining things, but not before planting a surprise. A USB drive with fabricated chats between her and a client, implying insider trading. Moral conflict raged. This was escalation, potentially criminal. Fear gripped me. What if I got caught? Jail. But obsession overrode it. The pursuit of revenge had become my lifeline, the only thing keeping the humiliation at bay. Emily's calls increased, frantic. Alex, something's wrong. My bank's frozen, fraud alert. And Jake's under investigation at work. Her voice cracked, vulnerability piercing. Part of me ached, the old love lingering like a ghost. Need help? He offered, voice steady. She hesitated. Maybe. Can we meet? The park again, dusk falling, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones. She looked broken, hair disheveled, eyes pleading. I think someone's targeting us. You wouldn't. Accusation hung unspoken. I met her gaze, heart pounding. Why would I? I'm over it. But my words rang hollow. She grabbed my arm, desperate. Please, Alex. If it's you, stop. We can fix this. In that moment, doubt crested. Her touch ignited old flames. Heartbreak resurfacing, raw and aching. Was this justice or madness? I pulled away, cold resolve fracturing. Goodbye, Em. As I walked off, rain starting to fall, I deleted the final piece. An anonymous post on a forum exposing their affair to mutual friends. But I didn't send it. Instead, I went home, poured the last of the whiskey, and stared at the cracked phone screen. The twist came the next morning. A knock at the door, police. Panic surged, pulse thundering. Mr. Thompson. We have questions about financial irregularities involving Emily Hayes and Jake Harlan. My mouth went dry. Had they traced it back? But no, the officer continued. Turns out Ms. Hayes was the one skimming funds. From your joint account, actually. And Mr. Harlan's been embezzling for years. Your tips helped, but it was her confession that sealed it. Confusion hit like whiplash. Confession. Then it dawned, Sarah. Call her guilt. She'd been the one. Perhaps out of loyalty to me or jealousy. Emily had confided in her. And Sarah turned it against them. Poetic justice, unintended. I hadn't needed to go further. Fate, or a hidden ally, had delivered the blow. Relief washed over me, mingled with guilt. The revenge I'd pursued had been mirrored, amplified. Emily and Jake faced ruin, but my hands were cleaner than I'd thought. As I watched from afar, their arrests splashed on local news, friends turning away, the obsession lifted. Heartbreak remained, a scar, but the cold resolve thawed. In the end, betrayal's echo was its own undoing. I cancelled the last remnant, our shared lease. Time to settle, for myself.